The signal came on a Tuesday. Dr. Samantha Gray had been working late at the Arecibo, Iowa Observatory, running routine scans of the stars. Most nights were the same, hours of silence broken only by the usual cosmic noise. But not tonight. "That can't be right," she whispered, staring at her computer screen. The pattern repeated every 12 seconds. Perfect and precise. Definitely not natural. Samantha's hands trembled as she called her team. By morning, every major observatory on Earth confirmed what she already knew. This was it. First contact. News spread quickly. People gathered in homes, bars, and public squares to watch as world leaders addressed the planet. President Hale stood at the podium, his face a mix of wonder and worry. Today marks a turning point in human history. We are not alone. Scientists worked day and night to decode the message. After 3 weeks, they understood. It was an invitation from something called the Galactic Council. They wanted to meet. In a secure underground facility, Commander Eric Donovan paced back and forth. The former Navy SEAL didn't like surprises, and aliens were the biggest surprise of all. "We're moving too fast," he told the room of government officials. "We know nothing about them, their intentions, or their capabilities." Senator Richard Powell shook his head. "We can't ignore this opportunity. Think of what we could learn. Or what they could learn about us," Donovan countered. The debate lasted for days. In the end, diplomacy won. Earth would answer the call. Samantha worked with the military to craft a response. Simple and direct. Earth accepts the invitation. 3 months later, they received detailed instructions. The Council would send coordinates for a meeting point in space. Earth needed to send representatives. At the United Nations emergency session, countries argued over who would go. Eventually, they agreed on a diverse team: diplomats, scientists, and military personnel from various nations. Senator Powell would lead the mission. Dr. Olivia Martinez, a brilliant xenobiologist, would study the aliens. Lieutenant Alan Walsh would serve as military protection. William Carter, a gifted linguist, would handle communications. "This is insane," Samantha told Donovan as they watched the massive ship being built. The Horizon was Earth's first true starship, constructed using plans included in the alien transmission. "That's what worries me," Donovan said. "They gave us the exact blueprints to build this ship. They know precisely where we'll be and when we'll get there. Perfect for an ambush. Or perfect for a genuine first meeting," Samantha countered. Donovan placed his hand on her shoulder. "I hope you're right. But while they're gone, we'll be preparing. Just in case." The day of launch arrived. Millions watched as the Horizon rose from its dock in the Pacific Ocean. Its engines glowed with strange blue light. Technology humanity hadn't possessed until the aliens shared it. Senator Powell addressed Earth from the ship's bridge. "We go as representatives of all humanity. We carry your hopes, your dreams, and your questions to the stars." The journey would take 3 weeks. As the Horizon disappeared from view, Donovan established the Earth Defense Initiative. He converted old military bases into training centers and research facilities. "If these aliens are friendly, great. We'll have wasted some time and money," he told his staff. "If they're not, we'll need every advantage we can get." Back at Arecibo, Samantha continued monitoring space for any new signals. One night, she found something, not from the Council's direction, but from somewhere else entirely. A weak signal, almost like a warning. She tried to decode it, but it stopped before she could. The only word she understood sent chills down her spine. "Beware." The Horizon emerged from its final jump into a sea of stars. Through the main viewport, the Earth delegation got their first look at the Nexus. It was enormous. A massive ring-shaped station with spokes connecting to a central hub. Ships of various sizes and shapes moved around it like bees around a hive. "My God," Senator Powell whispered. "It's beautiful." William Carter stood beside him, eyes wide. Each of those lights is a different alien civilization. Dr. Olivia Martinez checked her instruments. I'm detecting thousands of unique biological signatures. This is beyond anything we imagined. Lieutenant Walsh remained focused on his security screens. We're being scanned, he reported. Multiple times, different frequencies. A voice came through their communication system, speaking perfect English. Earth vessel Horizon follow the designated path to Docking Bay 17. Welcome to the Nexus. As they approached, the true scale of the station became clear. The Horizon Earth's greatest achievement, was tiny compared to even the smallest alien ships. They docked with a gentle bump. Senator Powell straightened his tie. Remember, we represent all of humanity. Let's make a good impression. The airlock opened to reveal a long walkway. 3 aliens waited at the end. Each looked completely different from the others. The tallest had blue skin and 4 arms. The shortest resembled a walking plant with glowing spots. The third looked almost human except for its silver eyes and pointed ears. The silver-eyed alien stepped forward. I am Velax, overseer of the Galactic Council. These are representatives of the Lorian and Metheri civilizations. He gestured to his companions. We welcome Earth to the galactic community. The humans were escorted through grand hallways filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some nodded respectfully. Others watched with what seemed like curiosity. A few, particularly a group of reptilian beings, observed them with what Lieutenant Walsh could only describe as suspicion. They entered a vast chamber where 24 different aliens sat in a semicircle. Velax guided them to seats at the center. The council has existed for over 10,000 years, Velax explained. We guide developing civilizations, share technology, and maintain peace across 24 star systems. And what does Earth gain by joining? Senator Powell asked. Knowledge, protection, a place among the stars. Velax smiled. But full membership takes time. For now, Earth will hold observer status. Later, at a reception, the humans mingled with various aliens. Dr. Martinez was fascinated by the biological diversity. Lieutenant Walsh kept close to Senator Powell, watching for any threats. William Carter moved between conversations, his translator device working overtime. Near a refreshment table, he overheard 2 Metheri talking. His device translated their clicking language. Another Type 3. The overseer seems concerned. With good reason, the other replied. Remember the last one. Carter moved closer, pretending to examine a floating sculpture. Containment protocols are already being discussed. The first Metheri continued. Just in case. Carter felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned to find a tall reptilian alien staring down at him. Curious about art, human. Its voice was deep and rumbling. Yes, it's beautiful, Carter replied, heart racing. I am Krex, military advisor to the Council. The reptilian's eyes narrowed. Your species shows much potential, perhaps too much. Back on the Horizon the team compared notes. Lieutenant Walsh voiced his concerns. Did anyone else notice how interested they were in our military capabilities? Dr. Martinez nodded. They asked very specific questions about human learning and adaptation rates. Carter reported what he'd overheard. What is a Type 3 potential? And what are containment protocols? Senator Powell sighed. We need to be careful not to appear paranoid. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. As they prepared for sleep in the artificial night cycle, Dr. Martinez noticed a small device attached beneath her desk. It hadn't been there before. A listening device, or something else. On Earth, Commander Donovan received their first encrypted report. As he read it, his expression darkened. He picked up the secure phone. Mr. President, we may have a problem. 6 months after first contact, Earth changed faster than ever before. New buildings rose in major cities, built with materials that came from Council technology. Cars began to run on clean energy. Doctors cured diseases that had killed millions. From her office window, Catherine Lane watched a new medical center being built in just days. As a top investigative journalist, she had covered wars, scandals, and disasters. But this story was different. This was about humanity's future. She turned back to her computer, and the files a source had sent her. The images showed planets similar to Earth. Each had joined the Council. Each had advanced quickly, and each had mysteriously gone silent within 50 years. What happened to them? She whispered to herself. Her phone rang. It was Dr. Nicholas Parker from the new Quantum Research Lab. "Catherine, I found something you should see," he said, his voice low. "Can you meet me?" "Not at the lab. Somewhere private." 2 hours later, they sat in a quiet corner of an old diner. No fancy new tech here, just cracked leather seats and the smell of coffee. "The Council gave us blueprints for a new communication system," Dr. Parker explained. "But I found a way to make it better, faster. When I showed my boss, he told me to stop. Said the Council wouldn't approve." Catherine leaned forward. "And I kept working in secret. Yesterday, I overheard 2 Council advisors talking. They seemed afraid." "Of what?" "Of us. Of how quickly we learn." Dr. Parker's hands shook slightly. They kept using that phrase, Type 3 potential. That night, Catherine received a message from a block number, parking garage, level B3. Midnight. She debated going. It could be a trap, but her instincts told her this was important. At 11:55 p.m., she arrived at the nearly empty garage. A woman stepped out from behind a concrete pillar. "I'm Agent Patricia Sullivan, Earth Intelligence." Catherine recognized her from press briefings. "You're with the government team working with the aliens." "Yes, and I need your help." Agent Sullivan handed her a small drive. "This contains records of other Type 3 civilizations. The Noran, the Peller, the Vostrian, all gone." "Gone how?" "That's what we need to find out. The Council blocks every attempt to learn more." Agent Sullivan checked her watch. "I need to go. Be careful who you trust." The next morning, a Council ship entered Earth's atmosphere. It landed at the new international spaceport. Zelier, a high-ranking Council member, emerged. Unlike Valax's warm demeanor, Zelier moved with cold precision. Commander Donovan greeted him with forced politeness. "Welcome back to Earth." "Thank you, Commander." Zelier's silver eyes revealed nothing. "I am here to observe your military readiness exercises." "Those are classified," Donovan replied. "Not under Section 7 of our agreement." "I have full access." Zelier handed him a tablet. "Signed by your president." Donovan took the tablet, hiding his anger. "Of course. Follow me." Later that day, Dr. Parker demonstrated his latest breakthrough to a small group of trusted colleagues. His quantum communication device could send messages instantly across any distance. "The Council's tech needs relay stations," he explained. "Mine doesn't, and they can't detect or block it." One scientist asked, "Why are we hiding this? Shouldn't we share it with the Council?" Dr. Parker exchanged glances with Commander Donovan, who stood at the back of the room. "No," Donovan said firmly. "From now on, our best innovations stay private." That evening, Catherine sat in her apartment, connecting names and events on a digital board. Type 3 civilizations, missing planets, Council restrictions. Her phone buzzed with a message from Dr. Parker. "Meet tomorrow. Major discovery." But Dr. Parker never arrived. His lab had been sealed by Council security forces. The official story: a containment breach. No one was allowed in or out. That night, Commander Donovan received a call from the president. "Eric, I think we made a mistake." Catherine Lane met Agent Sullivan in an old subway tunnel. The place smelled of dust and forgotten things. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness. "Are you sure we weren't followed?" Catherine asked. "Yes, but we don't have much time." Agent Sullivan pulled out a small device and pressed a button. A soft hum filled the air. "This will block any listening technology, even the Council's." Catherine showed Sullivan her research on the missing civilizations. All of them were classified as Type 3, just like Earth. All of them vanished within 50 years of Council contact. Sullivan nodded. We need to access the Council's main database. And I think I know how. She explained her plan. The Council kept archives on the Nexus. With Catherine's investigative skills and Sullivan's security clearance, they might find the truth. 3 days later, they boarded a transport ship to the Nexus. Sullivan posed as a security official. Catherine went as a journalist writing about Council cultural exchange. On the Nexus, Sullivan led Catherine through service corridors, avoiding the main halls. Using stolen access codes, they entered a dimly lit room filled with floating data crystals. The Council's historical archives, Sullivan whispered. We have 20 minutes before the security scan repeats. They searched frantically. Catherine found nothing about missing civilizations. Then Sullivan called her over to a crystal glowing red. This is sealed with extra security. Sullivan connected a small device to the crystal. The device blinked, then turned green. We're in. A hologram appeared before them. It showed a document titled The Phoenix Protocol. As they read, their faces grew pale. The protocol described how to handle potentially dangerous species, those that learned too quickly or showed too much independence, species that might one day challenge the Council. Step 1. Technological guidance. Catherine read. Offer advances that create dependency. Sullivan continued reading. Step 2. Cultural integration. Encourage social changes that align with Council values. Step 3. Military assessment. Identify weaknesses and strengths. Final step. Catherine's voice failed her. Containment or neutralization as determined by Council vote. A noise in the corridor startled them. Sullivan quickly disconnected from the crystal. They slipped out through a maintenance shaft just as guards entered the archive room. Back on Earth, Dr. Ryan Bennett worked in a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. After Dr. Parker's lab was sealed, Commander Donovan had moved the most promising scientists underground, literally. Dr. Bennett studied the quantum communication device Parker had created. He had improved it, making it smaller and more powerful. It works, he told Donovan, demonstrating how a message traveled instantly to a receiver on Mars. And the Council can't detect it. Good. Donovan showed him a map. We've established bases here, here, and here. He pointed to locations on Mars, Europa, and deep in the asteroid belt, all hidden from Council observation. You think it will come to that? Dr. Bennett asked. I hope not, but hope isn't a strategy. On the Nexus, the Council gathered for an emergency session. Velek stood before the 24 representatives. Earth's development is proceeding at an unprecedented rate, he announced. Their adaptability exceeds all projections. Zelier spoke next. I have observed their military capabilities. They are primitive, but their tactical thinking is unpredictable. Krex, the reptilian military advisor, growled. The humans modify our technology in ways we didn't anticipate. They ask too many questions. They show signs of the same dangerous creativity that doomed the Vostrians. A vote was taken. The result: Earth would be given one final chance to prove its willingness to follow Council guidance. Any further unauthorized development would trigger the Phoenix Protocol. As the Council meeting ended, a silent message traveled across space on Dr. Bennett's quantum network. The Phoenix is rising. Prepare for darkness. Dr. Samantha Gray woke to the sound of her emergency alert. It was 3:14 a.m. She grabbed her phone and saw a message from the observatory. Unknown signal detected. Pattern matches nothing in our database. She drove through the dark, empty streets. The stars above seemed to watch her with new meaning now. At the observatory, her team worked frantically at their stations. It started 20 minutes ago, her assistant explained. It's not from the Nexus or any known Council location. Samantha studied the signal pattern. This isn't Council technology. It's something else entirely. After hours of work, they managed to decode part of the message. To Earth, Danger. Council. Lies. Contact these coordinates. The coordinates led to an abandoned mining outpost on a small moon orbiting Jupiter. Commander Donovan sent a small, unmarked ship to investigate. Captain Laura Winters of the newly built Defiance led the mission. The Defiance was Earth's first true warship, built in secret using a mix of Council technology and human innovation. It looked like a simple transport vessel from the outside, but carried powerful weapons and advanced shields inside. Captain Winters and her crew found a small ship hidden in a crater. Inside was a single alien, injured but alive. It had pale skin and large, sad eyes. "I am Thela of the Aldari," it said weakly. "I must warn Earth." Back on Earth, Thela recovered in a secure medical facility. Commander Donovan, Dr. Gray, and Agent Sullivan listened to the alien story. "The Council lies about everything," Thela said. "My people were like yours once. Curious, creative. We joined the Council 500 years ago." "What happened?" Donovan asked. "They used the Phoenix Protocol. Not full neutralization, but containment. They limited our technology, controlled our education, placed their advisors in our government." Thela's large eyes filled with tears. "We became servants, not members." "Why are you helping us?" Agent Sullivan asked. "Because your species might be different, strong enough to break the pattern." Thela handed them a small data crystal. "This contains locations of other species who resist Council control, and evidence of what they did to those who failed." As they reviewed the data, Captain Winters took the Defiance to the edge of the solar system. Her orders: look for signs of Council military buildup. What she found was much worse: a massive debris field stretching across thousands of miles. Analysis showed the remains were around 200 years old. "It was a battle," she reported back to Donovan. "A civilization tried to build defenses at the edge of their system. The Council destroyed them completely." Major Gregory Hoffman gathered the first graduates of his space combat training program. 100 men and women who had learned to fight in zero gravity, to pilot the new combat ships, to use weapons based on modified Council technology. "What I'm about to tell you is classified," he began. "Earth may soon face the greatest threat in our history. Not an invasion of aliens with superior technology, but something more insidious: the slow death of human potential." Senator Powell, still believing in Council goodwill, argued against these preparations in a closed Senate meeting. "We risk losing everything the Council has given us," he warned. "Their technology, their knowledge, their control," Catherine Lane countered, presenting her evidence. Her story about the Phoenix Protocol had been suppressed from public media, but it spread through secure channels to key leaders. The Council suddenly announced new travel restrictions. No Earth vessel could go beyond Mars without Council permission. They cited safety concerns and navigational hazards. That night, Commander Donovan met with the President. "We have months, maybe weeks," he said. "The Council is preparing for a vote on Earth's status." "What do you recommend?" the President asked. "Operation Blackout. It's time to show them what humans do when backed into a corner." The President looked out at the night sky. "They expect us to either submit or fight." Donovan nodded. "We'll do neither. We'll disappear." The Grand Hall of the Nexus sparkled with light from 1,000 stars. Delegates from all 24 Council species gathered for their centennial celebration. Earth's delegation, led by Senator Powell, stood out in their formal blue uniforms. Velax approached with open arms. "Senator Powell, how wonderful to see Earth participating in this historic occasion." "The honor is ours," Powell replied. He truly believed in the partnership. Despite the warnings, despite the evidence, he saw only the good the Council had brought to Earth. Dr. Olivia Martinez watched from across the room. Unlike Powell, she had grown suspicious. She noticed how Council members spoke differently when humans were nearby, how certain areas of the Nexus remained off-limits. "You seem troubled, Doctor," a voice said beside her. It was Krex, the reptilian military advisor. "Just taking it all in," she replied carefully. Krex's scaled lips formed what might have been a smile. "Your species adapts well to new environments." Perhaps too well. Later that evening, Velax presented a document to the assembled delegates. "The Mutual Defense Treaty," he announced, "a historic step toward full galactic cooperation." As the various species signed, Powell prepared to add Earth's signature. Dr. Martinez moved closer, pretending to admire a floating sculpture. She caught glimpses of text on the document's display. Her blood ran cold. The treaty contained hidden clauses not in the version they had reviewed. Clauses that would allow Council forces to enter Earth space for peacekeeping whenever deemed necessary. She tried to reach Powell, but Council guards blocked her path. "The ceremony must not be interrupted," one said firmly. William Carter, still serving as communications specialist, noticed her distress. He created a distraction by accidentally knocking over a tray of drinks. In the confusion, Martinez slipped him a note. Carter read it and felt sick. He had to warn Earth. Excusing himself, he hurried to their ship's communication room. Using Dr. Bennett's quantum device hidden in his bag, Carter sent an emergency message to Donovan. "Treaty compromised. Contains authorization for Council forces to pacify Earth if deemed necessary. Powell doesn't know." The message sent just as the doors slid open. Zelier stood there with 2 guards. "Unauthorized communications are forbidden during the ceremony, Mr. Carter." "Just checking our systems," Carter lied. "I think not." Zelier gestured to the guards. "Take him to security." Back in the Grand Hall, Powell signed the treaty. Applause filled the room. Velax raised his hands for silence. "Today marks a new chapter in Council history," he announced. "For too long, we have allowed developing species to progress without proper guidance. This has led to conflict, to waste, to potential threats to galactic stability." The crowd murmured in agreement. Earth has shown remarkable potential. Too remarkable, some might say. With this treaty, we ensure that potential develops along appropriate paths. Powell's smile faded. "What do you mean, appropriate paths?" "Simply that Earth will now benefit from closer Council oversight," Velax explained smoothly. "Your military, your research, your education, all will be guided by Council wisdom." "That wasn't in the treaty," Powell protested. "It was in the complete version," Krex said, stepping forward. "Perhaps you should have read more carefully." On Earth, Donovan received Carter's message. He immediately contacted the president. "It's happening. They're making their move." The president nodded grimly. "Initiate Operation Blackout." Within hours, strange things began happening across Earth. Power grids shut down in major cities. Satellite communications failed. Space stations went dark. Council advisors found their Earth contacts suddenly unreachable. Emergency broadcasts advised citizens to remain calm and follow evacuation procedures that had been quietly rehearsed for months. Underground shelters built under the guise of subway expansions opened their doors. On the Nexus, all communication with Earth suddenly stopped. Powell was placed under protective custody. Dr. Martinez and the rest of the Earth delegation were confined to their quarters. Velax addressed an emergency council session. "It appears Earth is experiencing some form of catastrophic system failure. We must send aid immediately." But Krex's eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Or perhaps they've gone silent deliberately." "Impossible." Velax dismissed the idea. "No species has ever rejected Council guidance so completely." "No species until now," Krex replied. The Council scout ships arrived in Earth's orbit 3 days after all communications stopped. They found a planet that seemed abandoned. Cities stood empty. Power grids remained dark. No radio signals. No satellite activity. No signs of life. "Scan again," the Lorian captain ordered. "Billions of humans can't just disappear." But the scans showed the same results. Earth had gone silent. The Council held emergency meetings. Theories spread quickly. Perhaps humans had destroyed themselves in some internal conflict. Perhaps a natural disaster had forced them underground. Perhaps a disease had swept through the population. Velax appeared troubled. "We must send teams to the surface to investigate." Krex disagreed. "This could be a trap. The humans are unpredictable." In the end, small teams landed near major cities. They found empty streets, abandoned vehicles, and silent buildings. Food left on tables. Clothes still hanging in closets. It was as if humans had simply vanished. What the council didn't know was that beneath their feet, humanity had created a new world. Deep under Denver, Commander Donovan walked through a massive underground city. 20,000 people lived and worked in the huge complex. Similar facilities existed under 14 other locations around the world. Some beneath oceans, some inside mountains, all hidden from council detection. "How long can we stay down here?" Catherine Lane asked, now serving as head of public communications. "Years if necessary," Donovan replied. But that's not the plan. In a large command center, Dr. Bennett and Dr. Gray worked with hundreds of scientists and engineers. They had spent months preparing for this moment. Now, safe from council eyes, they were free to develop technology without restrictions. "The Prometheus engine is ready for testing," Dr. Bennett announced, pointing to a glowing blue device in the center of the lab. "If it works, we'll have unlimited power without radiation or heat signatures that could be detected." On Mars, Captain Winters supervised the construction of shipyards hidden beneath the red planet's surface. Using automated systems and a skeleton crew of engineers, they built vessels unlike anything Earth had created before. These ships incorporate council technology, but improve on it in ways they never imagined. She explained to Major Hoffman as they inspected a nearly completed vessel. "They're faster, more maneuverable, and with weapon systems the council has never seen." Hoffman nodded approvingly. "How many can we build?" With the automated factories, hundreds within 3 years. The council continued to monitor Earth, but their attention gradually turned elsewhere. They officially classified Earth as self-terminated, another failed civilization that couldn't handle the transition to galactic society. Only Krex remained suspicious. No bodies were ever found, he reminded the council. No evidence of war or disease. But the council preferred simple answers. Earth was gone. The problem had solved itself. 3 years passed. Most council species forgot about the strange humans who had briefly joined them and then vanished. Resources that had been allocated to Earth were redirected to other developing worlds. Then, a council mining ship disappeared near Jupiter. Another vanished near Saturn. Automated outposts on the edge of the solar system went dark. Velax called Krex to his private chambers. "What's happening in the Sol system?" "Exactly what I feared," Krex replied. The humans didn't die. They were preparing. The council voted to send a reclamation fleet to Earth. Officially, they were going to assist any survivors and reclaim valuable technology. In reality, they were going to ensure that if humans still existed, they would be brought under firm council control. 100 ships entered the Sol system, led by the council's largest battleship, the Asterisk Enforcer Asterisk. They encountered no resistance as they approached Earth. "Still no signs of life," reported the fleet commander, proceeding to establish orbital control platforms. In the hidden command center beneath Denver, Donovan received the alert. He looked at the president, now older and more determined than ever. "They took the bait," Donovan said. "All council ships have entered the solar system." The president nodded and pressed a button on the command console. "Captain Winters, you have permission to proceed." Across the solar system, hidden doors opened in asteroids, moons, and planetary surfaces. Hundreds of ships emerged from their hiding places. Earth was ready to break its silence. The council fleet moved into position around Earth. Their scanners showed no resistance, no defenses, not even basic satellite systems. The fleet commander, a veteran Krex named Derek, felt uneasy. "It's too quiet," he told his officers. "Deploy with caution." The first wave of council ships entered low Earth orbit. They began launching atmosphere probes and preparing landing sites for the reclamation teams. According to their plan, Earth would be stripped of all useful technology and resources within weeks. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Winters gave the order. All ships, activate stealth systems and move to attack positions. 200 Earth vessels, hidden until now by technology that bent light around their hulls, silently approached the Council fleet. They were smaller than the Council ships, but faster and more maneuverable. On Mars, Major Hoffman activated the planetary defense grid, weapons platforms that had been disguised as mining equipment. On Europa and other moons, similar systems came online. In the underground command center, the President turned to Donovan. "Are we ready for this?" "As ready as we'll ever be," Donovan replied. "Remember, we're not fighting to destroy them. We're fighting to force recognition." The President nodded and pressed the communication button. "Captain Winters, commence Operation Awakening." Aboard the Council flagship, alarms suddenly blared. Multiple contacts appearing on scanners, an officer reported. Hundreds of them, surrounding our position. Commander Dirac stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "Impossible. Where did they come from?" The first volley from Earth's ships disabled the engines of 12 Council vessels without destroying them. Captain Winters' voice broadcast on all frequencies, in all Council languages. "Council Fleet, this is Captain Laura Winters of Earth Defense Force. Your ships have entered restricted space without permission. Power down your weapon systems immediately." Dirac laughed. "These primitives think they can challenge the Council. Open fire." The Council ships launched their weapons, but the Earth vessels moved in patterns they had never seen before, seemingly predicting the attacks before they happened. More Council ships lost power as precise strikes hit their engine sections. From Jupiter's orbit, a massive Earth battleship emerged, the Defiance I*, 3 times larger than the original. It carried the Prometheus engine, giving it power beyond anything the Council had seen. Dr. Samantha Gray stood on the bridge beside Captain Winters. Now Director of Earth Science Division, she had helped design many of the new technologies that made this moment possible. "Open a direct channel to the Nexus," she ordered. It's time they heard our voice. Throughout Council space, on every world and station, communication systems suddenly activated. Dr. Gray's face appeared on screens everywhere. "People of the Galactic Council," she began. "For 3 years, Earth has been silent. We watched. We learned. We built. You believed we had destroyed ourselves or surrendered to fear. You were wrong." In the Council chamber on the Nexus, Velax watched in shock. Beside him, Krex seemed almost impressed. "Humanity will not be silenced," Gray continued. "We will not be contained. We will not be controlled. But neither do we come as conquerors." The Earth ships surrounded the Council fleet, but held their fire after the initial volley. "Today, we offer a choice. Continue to treat developing species as threats to be managed, or join us in creating something new. An alliance of equals. The Nova Alliance." The President stepped into view beside her. "For too long, the Council has operated through fear and control. Those days are over." In the Sol system, the Council Commander Dirac faced a difficult decision. His fleet was surrounded, many ships disabled. The humans could have destroyed them all, but hadn't. "Stand down," he ordered finally. "Open communications channel." On distant worlds, other species that had suffered under Council restrictions watched with hope. The Aldari, the remnants of the Vostrians. Dozens of other contained civilizations. 3 months later, representatives from 20 species gathered on Earth's moon at the newly built Nova Station. Captain Winters, now Admiral, stood with Thela of the Aldari and even Krex, who had broken from the Council. "The silence is broken," Admiral Winters said as they signed the founding document of the Nova Alliance. "And our voice will never be silenced again."